Hello, Alabama. Alabama looking to make a big run at Auburn this recruiting season? Did you see? Will Freeze lose this one too? Alabama is once again showing its strength and ambition in the recruiting scene, led by Kalen DeBoer. In a bold and calculated move, the Crimson Tide are making a late push to land Anquan Fegans, one of the nation's hottest prospects. Fegans, who has verbally committed to Auburn, is a four-star safety who stands out for his on-field presence and technical skills that have impressed analysts and coaches alike. Fegans, a senior at Thompson High School in Alabaster, Alabama, is much more than just a talented player. He exemplifies the type of athlete DeBoer and his staff are looking for: versatility, tactical intelligence, and a keen instinct for the game. The youngster has demonstrated a unique ability to be in the right place at the right time, which makes him a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. His coverage skills, both in zone and man-to-man coverage, are noteworthy, as is his ability to turn interceptions into points for his team. This attempt to turn around Fegans' commitment is much more than just a recruiting move, it's a statement of intent. Since DeBoer took over at Alabama, he has shown that he is not afraid to face traditional rivals like Auburn, even on his home turf. The relationship that has been built with Fegans by head coach DeBoer, defensive coordinator Colin Hitchler and defensive line coach Freddie Roach is a testament to the tireless work the Crimson Tide coaching staff puts into acquiring top talent. And this approach is nothing new for DeBoer. He has a clear vision for how Alabama should compete not only on the field, but also off it in the cutthroat world of recruiting. He knows that bringing players like Fegans into the program not only strengthens the defense, but also sends a message to recruits across the country: Alabama is where the best want to be. It's hard to ignore the emotional toll of this potential move. For Auburn, losing a talent like Fegans to its biggest rival would be a significant blow, especially considering the emotional toll that comes with recruiting a high-profile local player. For Alabama, it would be a strategic win that cements its position as the dominant force in the state and nationally. Fegans mentioned in May that he was still building his relationship with DeBoer and his staff, and it appears those efforts are paying off. That connection, fueled by genuine conversations and a shared vision for the future, could be the difference that leads him to reconsider his commitment to Auburn. The reality is that recruiting is as much about relationships as it is about talent. DeBoer understands that better than anyone, and his human approach, combined with Alabama's reputation for excellence, could be what finally convinces Fegans to put on a Crimson Tide uniform. Regardless of how this story ends, it's impossible not to admire Alabama's persistence and strategy in this campaign. DeBoer is betting big, and with good reason. Players like Anquan Fegans have the power to transform a defense and, by extension, an entire program. The game is far from over, but if there's one thing we know about Alabama, it's that we should never underestimate them, whether on the field or in recruiting. Let's keep going. And another recruit has been highlighted to come to Bama. Speaking of Xavier Crowell, who is a name on the radar. Crowell, the #1 sophomore running back in the country according to several rankings, is once again under Bama's eye, with a planned visit to the Iron Bowl game. Xavier, who plays for Jackson High School in Alabama, has been putting up impressive numbers since the beginning of his high school career. During his freshman season in 2023, he accumulated 1,737 rushing yards and an impressive 25 touchdowns on just 166 carries. As if that weren't enough, he also excelled in the passing game, recording 212 yards and 5 more touchdowns on 11 receptions. This year, the streak of exceptional performances continues, highlighted by a recent game in which he totaled 195 yards and 4 touchdowns on just 11 carries. It's the kind of talent that not only turns heads, but also redefines expectations. Since Kalen DeBoer took over as Alabama's head coach, the program has been increasingly appealing to elite athletes like Crowell. DeBoer, known for his strategic skills and clear vision for team building, has brought a new dynamism to recruiting. His direct, engaging approach has led to high-profile prospects not only visiting campus, but returning time and time again, as Crowell has. The Alabama-Auburn Classic is a showcase for the passion, tradition, and level of excellence that defines the Crimson Tide. Bringing a prospect of Crowell's caliber into that atmosphere is a strategic move that demonstrates DeBoer's commitment to connecting recruits with the essence of the program, just as he did after the Bama win. Crowell's performance on the field reflects traits that are essential to success at a program like Alabama: explosiveness, consistency, and the ability to step up in big moments. These qualities, combined with his untapped potential, make him one of the most sought-after prospects in the country. For Alabama, securing him to continue attending Tuscaloosa is an indication that the program is investing heavily to keep him on its radar. From a fan perspective, it's exciting to imagine the impact Crowell could have in DeBoer's system. With a stout offensive line and a scheme that historically emphasizes the run game, Crowell could be a key piece in keeping the Crimson Tide on top. This is an opportunity for Crowell to experience what it means to play for one of the most storied programs in college sports history. He'll get to see firsthand the intensity and winning mentality that defines Alabama, traits that no doubt resonate with his own ambitions as a player. If this relationship turns into an official commitment, Alabama will not only be securing an elite player, but also a great player for the team. Let's get moving. A side note, this article was developed before the Alabama projection was scheduled for Tuesday. Just sharing Tyler Booker's thoughts. The Alabama Crimson Tide's 2024 regular season ended with a solid win in the Iron Bowl, defeating Auburn 28-14 and finishing the campaign with a 9-3 record. Despite the positive momentum, the debate over Alabama's eligibility for the college football playoff has been a hot topic among fans, analysts, and players. Tyler Booker, captain and offensive lineman for the Crimson Tide, made his point clear: Alabama deserves to be in the Big 12. During his appearance on the Next Round, Booker made a strong and compelling argument. "I feel like the playoff is designed to have the 12 best teams in the country, and if you turn on the film and think Alabama isn't one of them, I don't know how you would define that," he said. For him, it's not just about the numbers on the scoreboard, but the quality on the field. He highlighted the talent level on the roster and the strength of the schedule they're facing as clear indicators that the Crimson Tide belong in the elite group. Booker's argument reflects not only the sentiment of the roster, but also the essence of the program led by Kalen DeBoer. Since taking over as head coach, DeBoer has fostered a culture of resilience, even in the face of adversity. The 9-3 record, while not the undefeated standard that many associate with Alabama, does not diminish the quality of the team. After all, we're talking about a team that faces one of the most challenging schedules in the country and that, even in defeats, has shown competitiveness and the ability to adapt. The victory over Auburn in the Iron Bowl is emblematic of this narrative. In a matchup full of rivalry and intensity, Alabama demonstrated dominance in crucial moments, consolidating a solid defensive performance and precise offensive execution. Booker, as a captain and vocal leader, has been a key pillar in keeping the team focused and united, especially in times when outside criticism is at its most intense. The argument that Alabama is one of the Big 12 teams in the country is not just one player's passionate opinion. Critics may point to the record as a potential deterrent, but as Booker pointed out, the record alone doesn't tell the whole story. The impact of playing top-tier opponents week in and week out and still being competitive cannot be ignored. Plus, the team's individual and collective talent is undeniable, with players who are consistently in the conversation for national and NFL awards. For Crimson Tide fans, Booker's stance is a reflection of the unwavering confidence in the program. They know that Alabama isn't just about the numbers, but about what happens on the field, the execution, preparation, and winning mentality that has been built over decades of success. If the College Football Playoff Committee decides to include the Crimson Tide in the Big 12, it will be validating what Booker and many others believe: Alabama is not only a storied program, but also a current force. What this team has shown, especially under the leadership of Kalen DeBoer and captains like Booker, is that the Crimson Tide not only competes, but raises the bar for the sport. Let's keep going. And he who laughs last, laughs best. This year's Iron Bowl was as charged with emotion and intense rivalries as ever, but Auburn linebacker DeMarcus Riddick's pregame comments added extra fuel to the already heated contest. With bold statements about his superiority over Jalen Milroe and disparaging the talent of Ryan Williams, Riddick put himself squarely in the spotlight, and the Alabama Crimson Tide responded the way they do best, on the field. Riddick claimed he was faster than Milroe, that Ryan Williams wasn't all that, and that he would never lose to Alabama while he was at Auburn. Those were strong words, especially considering the magnitude of the Iron Bowl, a game that transcends college football and becomes almost a matter of identity in the state of Alabama. After the Crimson Tide's 28-14 victory, the reaction in the locker room was a mix of humor and affirmation. Alabama captain Tyler Booker has been open about how the team has handled the taunts. "Honestly, we all just laughed about it," Booker said during his appearance on the next round. "We knew he was going to have to see us eventually. He did. Ryan showed how special he was and Jalen showed how fast he was. I think he's going to have to go through some media training this offseason." Riddick certainly had a brush with reality for the Crimson Tide. On Alabama's first touchdown, Jalen Milroe literally ran past him into the end zone, a symbolic moment that encapsulated the team's response to his remarks. At the end of the day, Riddick walked out of Bryant-Denny Stadium with a bitter 0-1 record against Alabama, a start that certainly didn't match his promise to never lose to the Tide. But the impact of Riddick's comments wasn't just on him. They served as extra motivation for an Alabama that was already determined to give it its all in this matchup. For the seniors playing their final game at Bryant-Denny Stadium, the game was about more than rivalry, it was about legacy. As Booker noted, "We did it for them. Not so much for the playoffs and everything that surrounds it. We were just focused on teaching DeMarcus Riddick who Alabama is." That mentality is typical of the Crimson Tide under Kalen DeBoer and figures like Booker. The team doesn't just react to the criticism, they turn it into fuel to reaffirm their identity. It's that combination of focus, teamwork, and a clear sense of purpose that makes Alabama such a consistent powerhouse in college football. Furthermore, the performances of Ryan Williams and Jalen Milroe served as an eloquent and unquestionable response to Riddick's words. Williams, who was unfairly criticized by Riddick, showed why he is considered one of the most promising talents on the roster. Milroe, for his part, didn't need words to prove his speed, his movements on the field spoke louder than any verbal response. For Alabama, this year's Iron Bowl was more than a victory, it was a statement. At a time when the team is looking to assert its strength and secure a place among the best in the country, performances like this show that the Crimson Tide continue to be the measure of excellence in college football. As for Riddick, perhaps his words are a reminder that in the Iron Bowl, actions always speak louder than words, and Bama showed what they're made of. What do you think? What did you think of the game? Comment below.